Our guests of honor, Honorable Justice M.S. Kandik and Honorable Justice Valmiki Menezes, who could not make it for today's function. Secretary, Mr. Shivan Desai.
These schedules to attend today's function. We would like to welcome our guests with a floral tribute. I now call upon Advocate Maria Simon Furia and Advocate Tanya Ferreira to present the floral tribute to our esteemed guests as we call out their names. Kindly presented to our chief guest for today's function, Justice Nivedita Mehta.
Women's Day, not only as what Madam Norman said, but also because of Mrs. Rosa Sparks of America, who refused to vacate her seat in the bus and was thrown out of it because she was reserved for a while. And more than that, I would like to say what has always been my motto, was the teaching of our own barrister, Mahatma Gandhi, to the women of India particularly. He said, know the way, show the way, and go the way. That is what I have done. With these words, I have the pleasure and the honor of felicitating and welcoming Justice Mehta, our own Justice Mehta. It is the other way around. On behalf of all of you and myself.
Vidyalaya, Shankar Nagar, Nagpur. Her Ladyship graduated in Commerce stream from Danvate National College, Nagpur. Her Ladyship completed her legal studies from Ambedkar College of Law, Nagpur. Her Ladyship was enrolled as an advocate on 16 September 1993 on the roll of Bar Council of Maharashtra and Goa. Her Ladyship has had an extensive practice of 31 years in civil, constitutional, service, local and municipal laws, as well as labour and criminal laws in the High Court of Judicature at Bombay, Nagpur bench. Her Ladyship has represented the Government of Maharashtra at Nagpur bench in the capacity of Assistant Government Pleader and Additional Public Prosecutor from 2013 to 2023 and represented the State Government as an Additional Government Pleader and Additional Public Prosecutor since 2023 till elevation. Her Ladyship takes keen interest in sports and has represented India in handball game, in Asian Games and Commonwealth Games. Her Ladyship is a recipient of Shiv Chhatrapati Award, the highest award for sports in the state of Maharashtra. Her Ladyship was elevated as Additional Judge on 25th October 2024, High Court of Judicature at Bombay. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanka. May I now request our Chief Guest, Honorable Justice Nivedita Mehta, to address the gathering.
Of the Goa High Court Bar Association, Advocate General, Madam Alvarez,
Madam Sadasai, Mr. Shivan Desai, Dr. Guru Swami, Madam Kachu, and distinguished members of the bar. Good morning and a very happy Women's Day to one and all. I am extending the wishes of my brother, Mrs. Kanik, as well as Menezes. It is my distinct pleasure to stand before you on this august occasion and share my views on a cause that touches upon all our lives. Before I proceed, I would like to take a moment to address my immense sense of gratitude in being able to stand here as a member of this institution. It is indeed a great privilege to serve the bench, but a privilege that comes with an inherent burden. It is from the example set by my brother judges, Justice Kanik, Justice Menezes, that I have seen how painstakingly one must render this duty. It is from stalwarts of our profession, such as Dr. Guru Swami, that one derives inspiration to do one's best for this institution. The women movement is not a novel one. It is a centuries-old struggle that is marked by great personal cost, led by many champions of this cause. It is important to keep in mind, as we stand here, that we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us and made strides towards a fairer society. Pioneers such as Justice Fatima B., the First Lady, Judge of the Honorable Supreme Court of India, Justice Leela Seth, the First Lady Chief Justice of a High Court in India, and from our very own Goa, Padma Shri awardees, Madam Elmeris, Madam Sadasai, and many other nameless faces who have carried this movement forward. This movement is also not a cause purely for women. It is a cause that demands the conciliation of all our views as to what constitutes a just and fair society. It is an all-encompassing question that touches upon human rights, our collective and individual moral responsibility, and for us as servants of this institution, a forward push to imbibe gender equality as a legal necessity. Despite significant progress in terms of legal framework, numerous women continue to encounter difficulties. We, the legal fraternity, as a collective, harbor the power to change this. It is a duty that we owe to society and ourselves. It is also imperative that we consider that not all change is possible through positive law, and therefore our duty is not limited to the professional sphere. It is the duty that we must always carry with us. I would like to congratulate Mrs. Vegas, Ms. Sawant, Ms. Sirsat, and Mr. Arun Pandey. Your efforts have not only made a significant impact in your respective fields, but have also inspired countless others to follow in your footsteps. I and many others are very keen to hear Dr. Guru Swami speak, who has been a vociferous proponent of the movement for equality, and therefore I would like to conclude with my parting thoughts. The fight for gender equality is rooted in a nuanced and broad view of equality, one that transcends classification of equality as social or economic in nature, rather one that espouses these views but is not limited by them, one that enables true freedom of self-realization for every girl and woman, free from the shackles of societal resistance. With this, I thank the Goa High Court Bar Association and more particularly its women's cell for giving me this opportunity and privilege to share my perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. Requesting you all to remain on the dais. We will be felicitating our 4 special invitees.
International Women's Day is an annual global celebration that aims to educate the society on the remarkable women's rights movement while celebrating the cultural, political, and socio-economical achievements of women and girls. Today, we would like to honor the contributions, the spirit, the resilience and achievements of 4 very special people who we believe have championed the cause of women and girls and have made us proud. May I now request Advocate Simon to kindly escort our felicities to the dais. Ms. Auda Viegas, Ms. Naman Sagar, Mr. Arun Pandey, and Ms. Sonia Sirsa.
May I now request Advocate Shweta Paulikar to introduce Ms. Auda Viegas to the gathering.
Three words sum up the career of Ms. Auda Viegas: educator, social activist, and founder of Bailanso Ekvot. Ms. Auda, as an educator, did not restrict herself to teaching the curriculum in schools, but rather, having obtained degrees in counseling and criminology, she chose to engage herself in conducting awareness programs through the community legal awareness schemes of the Karya Law College of Margao and the initiatives of the district and Taluka legal services authorities. As an activist, Ms. Auda's work is focused on women in distress. This led to her being appointed as the member of the panel for the rehabilitation of women under the Immoral Trafficking Prevention Act, a member of the Juvenile Justice Board for Apna Ghar, and a chairperson and later a member of the Posh Local Committee of the South Goa Collectorate. Bailanso Ekvot, the organization she founded for women, children, and the environment, is now 32 years old. Its most recent initiatives is the one-stop center for women in distress in South Goa. The organization, on the request of the Directorate of Women and Child Development, has been carrying on this work for the past 5 years, from 2019 to 2024. Rescued women are provided with all the assistance they need to help them get back on their feet again. This includes clothing, shelter, medicines, rehabilitation support, as well as counseling and legal aid. Victims of violence are provided support through rehabilitation programs as well as transport facilities to and from hearings in Panjim. Notably, the organization over the past 5 years under the initiative has handled 2,029 cases. Astonishing work, barely compensated by the government. For this distinguished, dedicated service to society through her organization and her work, we honor the founder of Bailanso Ekvot, Ms. Auda Viegas.
Thank you, Shweta. We request Honorable Justice Nivedita Mehta to felicitate Ms. Auda Viegas. Words.
Distinguished members of the legal fraternity, both on off the days, students and staff of the court,
the Bar Association. Thank you, I'm humbled by being honored because my struggle for justice and equality over the years, over the past 32 years, I feel fulfilled today because on this day, 8th March, I'm being honored at the hands of a distinguished judge and you who are present here. I'm so happy to see that there are lots of legal students as well present here. And we have expectations of them. We can't always put our gun on somebody else's shoulder and shoot. We all need to rise up to take up the cause of women and children. Personally, for the environment, I've gone to jail 10 times. That was one of the aims of my organization. And I've survived, and I would like to see more and more people come up to stand up for their rights. It was long ago that women needed someone else to fight for them. But today I feel that each one of us is empowered and take up the cudgels for your cause. You can't always put your gun, like I said, on somebody else's shoulder and shoot. I'm really honored to be in your midst and to see that my work, my humble work which I've done silently without much show. Though I've been awarded by the Government of India and the government, so many awards I have, but today's felicitations is a culmination of my struggle. That's what I feel. And I thank my friends, all of you, because I've worked with most of you. I thank you for this honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful words. May I now request Advocate Misbah Sheikh to introduce Ms. Naman Sawant.
Ms. Naman Sawant. Ms. Naman Sawant has had a varied career, from a school teacher to an assistant in the PWD, to a researcher at the National Institute of Oceanography, where she lived on a boat for 120 days doing her marine research in the Andamans. In between, she was and has been a journalist with the Pudari newspaper, writing numerous articles on women's issues, youth, and social traditions under the column Dhaloge Bhai Dhalo. Her interest in the literary field, especially in promoting the regional languages, is well established, as she is the founder member of the Sahitya Manthan Sattari, an organization which promotes literary movement in rural areas. And she is also a member of the Konkani Advisory Committee of the Sahitya Academy, New Delhi. But it is to social work that she has devoted several decades of her life, and the reason why we are felicitating her today. Inspired by the life of Savitribai Phule, India's first female teacher, Ms. Naman has worked for the upliftment of rural women and empowerment through educating them. She first worked at Baba Amte's Andanvan in labor skill camps, and thereafter introduced the work of Baba Amte in Goa's rural schools. She chose to work with the Khatkari community in Virnoda and ran educational and welfare programs for the youth, as well as health and hygiene programs for the women and children to improve their lives. Her focus in various initiatives has always been human rights, equality, and scientific perspective. For her dedication to help rural women improve their health and their status by creating a better place for themselves in the society, we honor you, Ms. Naman Sawant.
Thank you, Advocate Misbah. We now request our Chief Guest, Justice Nivedita Mehta, to felicitate Ms. Naman Sawant.
नमस्कार. थँक यू सो मच. खूप व्हडलें केल्यात तुमी म्हाका. ज्या कामा खातीर हे फेलिसिटेशन मेळ्ळा बरोवन येयला म्हाका. आय एम सॉरी. थँक यू बार. थँक यू मिस. थँक यू कॅरली. When you imagine a girl of 17 years, what we see, a school going, a higher secondary going girl with uniform and a bag. When we see a Katkari girl of 17 years old, what we see, she is malnourished, she has a 3 years old baby in her lap, 1.5 year baby in the hand, and she is 5 months pregnant, and all 3 of them are undernourished. So this makes us a Vedan Kendra to work for them, for early pregnancies, for repetitive pregnancies, early marriages, unhygienic conditions the students live in. This Katkari community is the monkey hunters, we say, makad mare or vanar mare. They sting so much that we don't feel like standing at least 3 meters away. We prefer to stand. Whenever they go to some government offices or anywhere, we just shade them by go and like that. So for these community, what is the progress of our, how we can measure the progress of our work? These students, the 42 students we are learning under our Vedan Kendra now, are the first generation learners, and sitting for 2 hours at a place is the progress what we have achieved for last 6 years. Out of 22 women, 6 women have accepted copper tea as the contraceptive. That is our achievement, we can say. Seeing here the lawmakers and implementers of law, I would request each and everyone, the future justice and present justice also, I would like to take opportunity to request you. The rural woman is suffering for so much with all Rudi Paramparas like widow discrimination and disrobing, not only women, even man. Disrobing order has been issued long back, but the implementation of this order is too far, I think. Social reformation takes place very slowly, with the speed of crocodile, with the speed of tortoise maybe, not even tortoise, maybe the speed of snail. But this change can be accelerated with the better implementation of laws, and these laws are our strong, what you say, shastra, like we can use, the social reformers can use the law as the strong support for our opinion, what we can put up in front of villages. Disrobing and widow discrimination at the time of death of her husband, and for the long term till her death. For both the discriminations we stand. I think the law should come fast so that this discrimination stops, because we respect the girl, the lady with the husband so much, and we disrespect the lady without husband so much. So the existence of husband is the only criteria for the respect of woman. We are living in the 21st century, and we see existence of husband as the respect criteria for woman. I think this we should somewhere it has to stop. So I request, I appeal all the lawyers, advocates present here to please implement this law and do the justice to one and all. Happy Women's Day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your heartfelt words. May I now request Advocate Rosette Pereira to introduce Mr. Arun Pandey.
Mr. Arun Pandey is a law graduate and a postgraduate in criminology and correctional administration from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. His decision as a young researcher at the Tata Institute of Social Sciences to get involved in a national study on sex trafficking in India changed his life forever. He came to Goa and founded Anyay Rahet Zindagi, or ARS, which means Life Without Violence. ARS is an NGO which has been working in Goa since 1998 on issues related to commercial sexual exploitation and child sexual abuse. Besides being involved in the prevention, rescue, and rehabilitation of victims of child sexual abuse and commercial sexual exploitation, ARS has gone one step further and experimented with a variety of business enterprises that the women can take up so that once relieved of this life of sexual slavery, they can stand on their own feet again. One of the best known enterprises of ours is Swift Wash, a laundering business that is run by and for women. Many hotels and business enterprises in Vasco support this venture. Mr. Arun Pandey has contributed to the drafting of the Goa Children's Act and the Prabhat scheme for the rehabilitation of the victims of sex trafficking. ARS was awarded Best NGO by the Government of India in 2011 and the Nari Shakti Award by Government of India in 2014. In 2023, Arun Pandey was honored as Anti-Trafficking Activist by the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. We honor Mr. Arun Pandey for his efforts beyond the call of duty that he has rendered to society, standing by women who are helpless and are often despised for no fault of their own, and for showing them the way to be able to stand on their own feet again.
Thank you, Rosette. We request Honorable Justice Nivedita Mehta to felicitate Mr. Arun Pandey. Words.
Respected Justice Nivedita Ma'am, Advocate General and members of Goa High Court Bar Association, I am very grateful to Goa High Court Bar Association for felicitating a man along with the distinguished women achievers. I think this is happening for the first time. There is a male who has been working for the women is being felicitated. I have been in the field working with women since last 30 years, and only issue which I have worked is sexual violence, mainly sex trafficking. Other than that, I have not worked on any other issue. It was in 1993, accidentally, I got exposed to the situation of children, minors and women in commercial sexual activity. As during my introduction I was told that I was studying at Tata Institute and doing my criminology, I happened to visit Kamatipura, for not as a client but as an exposure visit. And there for the first time I saw that the children, women were being commercially sexually exploited, and openly women and men were soliciting customers. Being a student of law, because I did my law from Lucknow University, and only I had theoretical knowledge by then, I was wondering that how can this happen when the law doesn't allow to buy and sell children, women or anyone, and how can this happen openly when there is a police station nearby. I went and asked my supervisor, And my supervisor felt is that I need to study more about this issue. And that's when I post-graduated from TISS, I joined TISS as a senior researcher and did a national study for 3 years from 1994 to 97, went across all over India and then got an understanding about why commercial sexual exploitation happens. It is a complex issue. Post the study, our team members, we designed a model called Mukti model, which we felt if implemented properly, we will be able to make a difference. It was way back in 1997. We wanted to experiment this model, and we decided Baina as the red light area at that time, because at that time we had Devrasi practice here, children being prostituted, no anti-trafficking work being done. I'm talking about way back in 1997, 1998. We decided to implement this model in Baina. At that time, we thought that within 3 years, we will be able to make a difference and pack our bag and go back. But it's nearly 25 years. Still, we continue to work on sex trafficking. If you ask me, has the phenomena changed much? I will say no, it has increased more than we are able to control. But there are various reasons for that. But anyway, one of the major reasons we find is that this issue is misunderstood. I don't think there is any other issue which is about which people have so much misconception. Generally, we see as the oldest occupation. We don't accept it as the oldest crime against children and women. What is also important is that we see women in this occupation as those who are responsible for this. We don't accept that the women are being forced in this, and it is the men who has a choice to visit them or not to visit them. We don't accept that it is an organized crime which is happening because there is a demand for commercial sexual activity. But we continue to blame women and children for this. Yes, this is happening because of caste, class, gender, regional biases, and also because of corruption, and most importantly, that we have not understood what is the law of the land. Because the law very clearly defines it as an organized crime, and all the activity which contributes to trafficking is defined as serious offences. But we in India, instead of taking action against the client and the trafficker, we continue to prosecute the victim all across the India. If you see, ma'am, most of the cases booked are under section 7 and 8 is against the victim and not against the client or the trafficker. What we have been trying to do is that trying to see in collaboration with the state to see that the traffickers are prosecuted. Since I'm a student of criminology, also believe only prosecution is not enough. We need to reform them also. And at the same time, what we have been also doing is that helping the state in rescue of the girls, and along with the rescue, ensuring that they don't get re-trafficked. And the reason for re-trafficking is that they don't have livelihood option. They don't have proper rehabilitation counseling. They require psychiatric help. They require help in de-addiction. They require protection from the trafficker, because in the end of the day, they are the commodity in the market of the sex market. And if the children and women are not there, this market will collapse. This is simple economics. This market exists because there is a demand of children and children and women are used as commodity. So that's what we have been trying to do. The journey has not been easy. Not easy because it's organized crime. Journey has not been easy because the law enforcement agency doesn't understand the law properly. There exists various kinds of misconception. There is corruption. Okay, and most importantly, there is hardly any services for these victims. We have set up livelihood program, as in the introduction we said. We have formed a group of survivors. It is called WISH, wherein now we have livelihood program in North Goa as well as South Goa, trying to reach out to victims who want to exit. As I said, the journey has not been easy, but what happens is that in such occasions, when your work gets acknowledged, because at the end of the day it is a teamwork. Though I have been invited here to be felicitated, because last 30 years is not me. There is a team which consists of more women than men who have been working towards making a difference. We do feel satisfied when we are able to enable exit of women and children from commercial sexual exploitation. But I'd like to say that thank you so much. This kind of acknowledgement of the work on sex trafficking, the appreciation by the legal fraternity means a lot, not only to me, but my team, because this gives us courage and encouragement to continue our work to fight against this organized crime called sex trafficking. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pandey, for your enlightening words. We are truly grateful for your commitment to the cause of women and girls. May I now request Advocate Soumya Raghu to introduce Ms. Sonia Sirsa.
First and foremostly, Happy Women's Day to one and all. Sonia Sirsa needs no introduction to Goans. She's been called the ambassador of Goan music to the world. She specializes in singing fado. The word means fate or destiny. It is a semi-classical Portuguese form of songs about love, longing and nostalgia. Sonia has been singing fado professionally for the last 22 years and has performed in 16 languages and in 19 countries. She is rated as the best fadista, that is singer of fado, of all time in India. Few know, however, that she also has a law degree, having done a master's in law from the V.M. Salgaonkar College of Law, and she was a professor of law for some time. Today, however, she prefers to teach music through her project Fado di Goa. She conducts classes of fado to over 300 students. Sonia is such a popular figure among the youth in Goa that she's been appointed as the state icon by the State Election Commission for the last 4 elections. She is the winner of numerous national and state awards, including the prestigious Ustad Bismillah Khan Yuva Puraskar from the Government of India and the Yuva Srujan Puraskar from the Government of Goa. We honor Sonia today for her achievements in single-handedly rising to the very top of the music profession and for showing us all that being a woman is no handicap when you have the depth and determination to nurture your God-given talent to its fullest. Sonia has made all women in Goa proud of her achievements, and we, the women's cell of High Court Bar Association, are truly honored that she accepted our invitation to be with us today. So this is all that I practiced, but I wanted to know what kind of song she sings. So whilst I was preparing this in the morning and straightening my hair, obviously, I played her songs on YouTube, and that is something that if you've not heard of her, you should go for it and give it a hear.
Thank you, Advocate Soumya. May I now request Justice Nivedita Mehta to kindly felicitate Ms. Sonia Sirsa. Sonia Sirsa to kindly say a few words, and maybe like Advocate Soumya has heard you, we would love to hear you sing a few words for us too.
Honorable Justice Mehta, my fellow felicities, honorable dignitaries in the audience, members of the press, students of law, young advocates, some of my law students who are here, staff of the High Court, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, thank you very much for this felicitation. in the world that I come from, of showbiz or entertainment, social media has reached such a level where everyone and anyone can be a self-proclaimed celebrity, self-proclaimed authority. There can be a lot written about them on a mobile, which is all the time in our hands. And many of us do not go to check the authenticity of whatever has been published. So in such times when anybody can have a beautiful portfolio put up and sometimes auto-tuned voice clips also, when a felicitation like this comes your way from the Goa High Court Bar Association, Women's Wing, it makes us sit back and think that we're probably on the right path. So thank you very much on behalf of all three of us, all four of us, thank you very much for this felicitation. Law is a subject that I loved teaching because I loved the subject. I had a different view about the practice though, so I went into singing. I did teach law for 4 years, and a few weeks back I was in the High Court premises for something else, and I saw a lot of my students parading because they had cases and they had work. So it was so nice to see all of them. Some of them are here today. And then when I took a step into music and I started teaching music, I realized that there's a lot of work to be done there as well. Listening to the three felicities before me, the work I do, I really don't know if it really counts as much as what they do, because they are solving problems at grassroots level, problems of livelihood, problems of safety, I mean basic requirements. What I'm working on is protecting something that is required, and that is our culture. We talk about the Fado, and why do we talk about the Fado in Goa? Because it's been living here for over a century. It might be in a foreign language, doesn't matter. But it's been living here and therefore it's loved by the people in Goa, so we need to protect it further. Any custom that is more than 100 years, we all know it's standing in law. So an art form that has lived here for more than 100 years becomes ours. But there's another art form that I also want to bring your focus on, and that is the Mando. The Mando is also as old as the Fado. When the Fado was being developed in Portugal, the Mando was being developed here in Goa. Now what is so unique about the Mando? It is a folk form from Goa, so therefore Indian. It is in Konkani, so therefore Indian, but it's based on Western music. Usually a folk form is in the local language, local music, local culture. But Mando is in Western music, not Indian music. But it is Goan, it's Indian, it's Konkani. And that is what makes Mando so unique. Fado has been recognized by UNESCO as Intangible Heritage of Humanity in 2011. I hope Mando will follow soon. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for this felicitation. Thank you. And I would like to invite my student, not my law student, my Fado student, Advocate Sherwin Correa, to help me present before you a Fado, which is in Portuguese, as all Fado is, but this one has Konkani lyrics by the great poet of Goa, Manohar Rai Sardesai. So I would like to sing the Konkani one for you. It's called Sopon. seen. Can he be seen? He's lost a lot of weight, we can't see him. Yeah. So initially I thought of doing the Portuguese and the Konkani, but it's going to be too long. So I'll just go into the Sopon, which is in Konkani. Disle makasopnan tu Kauchirati Tu jautara slomo Animatiarola fati Tanya poria sunaso Aile tu mujhe lagi So the verse says that I slept, I had a dream. In my dream you came to me and said that I am yours and only yours. I opened my eyes, I got up and you were gone. So now I shut my eyes and try to go back in that dream, but you do not return. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Sopon. Thank you very much. A big hand to Shirley. Thank you very much, Goan Reporter.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Advocate Sherwin. May I now request the delegates to have a seat. May I request Advocate Simon to kindly escort our chief guest.
We now have the much awaited part of our function. Dr. Maneka Guruswamy, Senior Advocate Supreme Court, has come all the way from Delhi to deliver her talk on equality, gender equality, a lawyer's manifesto. Before she delivers her speech and as a gesture of our appreciation, I request our chief guest, Justice Nivedita Mehta, to felicitate the Senior Advocate Dr. Maneka Guruswamy. I request Senior Advocate and Chairperson of the Women's Committee, Mrs. Norma Alvarez, to present the gift keynote. May I request Advocate Caroline Galasso to introduce the keynote speaker.
On International Women's Day, with its theme Empower, Inspire, Elevate, we have Dr. Menaka Guruswamy, our guest speaker for today, who is well known, widely respected, outspoken, and a senior counsel at the Supreme Court. International Women's Day is all about women's empowerment, breaking barriers, challenging stereotypes, which is why we are delighted that Dr. Menaka Guruswamy accepted our invitation to be our guest speaker for today, where she will address us on the topic, Equality, a Lawyer's Handbook. In her practice at the Supreme Court, Dr. Guruswamy has been involved in a host of complex litigation cases, including the Delhi excise case, which involved alleged manipulation of alcohol pricing by the then ruling state government, the Augusta Westland helicopter case, which involved alleged corrupt practices in defense procurement, the well-known 2G spectrum case, and the landmark challenge to Section 377 IPC, which the Supreme Court eventually struck down Section 377, thus effectively decriminalizing same-sex relations between consenting adults. Dr. Guruswamy is well equipped to fight such battles in terms of her academic qualifications. From her early beginnings at the National Law School, Bangalore, she went on to acquire a doctorate in law and a master's in law from Oxford University and a master's in law from Harvard Law School. She taught at the New York School of Law and has held various academic positions in leading universities like Yale, Columbia Law School, and at the University of Toronto's Faculty of Law. She has written extensively on law and was the co-editor of the book Founding Moments of Constitutionalism. Dr. Guruswamy has a wide legal practice which includes both civil, commercial, and criminal law, and she also appears before the arbitral tribunals both in India and abroad since she has been admitted to the bar in New York. Interestingly, Dr. Guruswamy has an active sports law practice, representing 35 state associations and 700 district associations in a key football litigation at the Supreme Court of India concerning suspension of the All India Football Association by FIFA. Accolades and awards she has aplenty. Noteworthy among them are the Jefferson Medal in 2021, which is the University of Virginia's highest honor in law, and incidentally, she was the first non-American to receive this honor. In 2019, she was on the Foreign Policy magazine's list of the 100 most influential global thinkers. On Time magazine's list of the 100 most influential people of the year. Dr. Guruswamy worked at the United Nations Development Fund, advising on lawmaking in South Sudan for UNICEF and constitution making in Nepal. So we all look forward to hearing Dr. Menaka Guruswamy on her topic, Equality, a Lawyer's Handbook.
Thank you, Advocate.